to globally transformative actions, resulting in a cleaner, greener, and bluer future. We will make life a global movement, one that envisions placing the prevalent use and dispose economy with a circular economy. It intends to nudge individuals to undertake simple acts in their everyday life that can contribute to effectively address the challenges of climate change, environment degradation, energy crisis, and rapid sustainable growth. Pro-planet people adopting fundamentally sustainable lifestyles will change the way we do business in the 21st century. India will seek to be a catalyst of that change. When taking over the G20 presidency in Bali, Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke about a sense of trusteeship. We want that message also to go out from the G20, that for the sake of future generations, for people like you, every generation should leave the planet in a better shape than it inherited it. After due deliberation, we have therefore taken up Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or One Earth, One Family, One Future, as our G20 presidency theme. Drawing from our cultural ethos, this is a strong assertion of beliefs in shared and common solutions. It may apply to climate action and life, where the power of example, the diffusion of technology, and the spread of best practices can make a decisive difference. The same drivers are even more powerful when it comes to digital delivery, in order to ensure that we leave no one behind. And remember, we have demonstrated it even at a time of extreme stress by undertaking successfully Vaccine Maitri. The G20 is a diverse platform that seeks to forge common ground on key issues among prominent countries. Our endeavor is to make that consensus more relevant through a wider process of consultation. Indeed, our very choice of guest countries is reflective of this intent. Harmonizing various interests is something that is ingrained deeply in India's history and culture. We have long been a pluralistic and consultative society who have debated issues openly before we arrive at a decision. Since this is deeply ingrained in our DNA, we have never been insecure with diversity. Our essential unity is not only the basis for pluralism, but it is also a source of confidence for engaging the world. As the mother of democracy, India's G20 presidency will be consultative, it will be collaborative, and it will be decisive. Having noted that, we must also recognize that the global order today is not truly reflective of the state of the world. Institutions and practices created 75 years ago still dominate global decision-making. A representative and democratic international order must press for change, not just in the United Nations, but in other international institutions as well. While we strive to progress on this broad agenda of issues, the G20 cannot be impervious to immediate developments that have a direct consequence on global well-being. This year, much of that debate has centered around the Ukraine conflict. As you all know, the Prime Minister had declared that this is not an era of war, and that dialogue and diplomacy alone can provide solutions. At Bali, the significance of this position was widely recognized by G20 leaders. In fact, the universality of this message is being appreciated as well. Many of you today would have read in the newspapers that you would have seen in the morning or read on your phones, Prime Minister's own thoughts about assuming the G20 presidency. And that, by the way, has appeared in newspapers across the world. Now, we should reflect on what, to my mind, were the 8 key points that he has articulated in his speech. And those points are: one, the greatest challenges can be solved not by fighting with each other, but by acting together. Two, technology gives us the means to address problems on a humanity-wide scale. Three, digital public goods that we have created are increasingly perceived by the world as delivering revolutionary progress. Four, India's experiences can provide insights for possible solutions. Five, our G20 priorities will be shaped by the interests of the Global South. Six, we will encourage sustainable and environment-friendly lifestyles based on trusteeship over nature. Seven, we will seek to depoliticize the global supply of food, fertilizers, and medical products. And eight, we will encourage an honest conversation among the most powerful countries. So, as the youth of India, it is important that you are not only aware of the G20 activities, but also of India's approach that I have just summarized. Under the Youth 20 Engagement Group of the G20, India will focus on skill development, on the future of work, access to quality health, and youth as equal partners in the development agenda. During the year, in the spirit of Jan Bhagidari, I would encourage the youth to conduct and host a wide range of practical activities like university lectures, roundtable discussions, model UN conferences in colleges on G20 agenda, and welcoming G20 delegations, including through cultural performance at various meeting venues. Remember, each one of you present physically here and virtually across, each one of you is an ambassador of India to the G20. I urge you to collectively be the radiant lotus of creative brilliance and generational optimism. Our success in the G20 will surely draw strength from all of you. So thank you again for your attention.
Was Dr. S. Jaishankar, of course, talking about India assuming the G20 presidency. The baton was passed to India from the Indonesian president, Mr. Joko Widodo, to Prime Minister Modi during the G20 summit in Bali. And India is expected now to host the G20 summit here in India sometime around September 2023. That is the expected date. And of course, the foreign minister enumerating a series of initiatives that the Prime Minister has talked about, as well as the importance of dialogue in resolving the Ukraine-Russia conflict.